Morning, guys. Here again
Good
for week
morning.
2 of our Q&A with Marla Schneider. And just to start off, here's the first question. How much work needs to be done before putting your home on the market?
It should be picture perfect. Your house is a stage and you have to set it. You have to set it as a stage. It's so important. I always tell this story, and it goes back many years ago, maybe even 30, when I was working with a high-end executive couple that moved every 2 years. And when they look at a house, they had a clipboard, like you go to the grocery store, apples, oranges, whatever. They went into a townhouse and it was messy. And they said, oh, this is terrible, we're not interested. They ended up going into another townhouse in the same subdivision that was neat and clean. They bought that. And it always stayed with me because these people, you thought, well, they would look past things. They'd move so much, but they couldn't. And I always tell that story because that just shows you, if somebody like that doesn't look past it, nobody's going to look past it. And you're going to lose that buyer.
I have the same encounters all the time. There was properties in Morton Grove I was showing, the same townhouse complex. And there was one, I showed the same one like countless times. And it's a mess. It's always a mess. And it turned, like every time I bring them there, there's another one that's in the market, and they'll always choose the one that's clean. Even though the one that's a mess is lower priced and just equally as nice, it just needs to be clean. If it's clean, it'll go.
And you need to put your stuff away. I always tell everybody, go to Costco, get those plastic containers, throw your stuff in and mark them. Stick them in the garage, stick them in the basement, hide them in storage.
Right.
But you need to put your stuff away because you want to have them visualize themselves in the home, not your things.
Right.
So important. And the numbers you're talking about, the 88% of the homes sell faster that are staged, and 20% higher price.
And that's a fact. That's from Realtor.com. 88% sell faster when they're staged at 20% more money. So remember that one, okay? And the next question actually is the importance of staging. How much difference does it make?
Huge. People can visualize themselves in this beautiful, neat home. Most of the homes we go in today are staged. And sometimes you can use your own things. You can put flowers out. You can move a couch out or a chair out. You can put a bottle of wine with some wine glasses. You can put some pretty towels around. You can use your own things. Sometimes you have to go further and rent things, but a lot of times you can use your own. But you want, when that buyer walks in the door, you want them to visualize themselves in the home.
Yeah, they want to be wowed.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So even if that takes putting a fresh coat of paint on the walls, taking out a dirty carpet, if you want top dollar for your house, you're going to have to do some work to it. Even if it's a little bit of cosmetic work, it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then when you do go to a market and people mention that they Googled their home, they put it into Zillow, and they saw that the Zestimate says this price, what do you have to say to them?
Well, I always try to explain to them, remember Zillow takes a price range of an area. They have no specifics on your home, they have no conditions. When we give you a price, we need to sit down with comparables of the same type of home you have, and that's really where the appraiser is going to use as well.
Exactly.
Because remember, I always say this, because it goes back, you have to sell this house to 3 people, the buyer, the realtor, and most importantly, the appraiser. So you need to make sure the comparables in the area warrant that price.
So the buyer, you're selling to the buyer, the appraiser, and to the realtor. Those 3 people. It's not just the price that you wanted to sell at, you got to sell it to 3 people.
That's right.
Okay. And then let's talk a little bit about qualifying the buyer and what they need to do in order to get that house that they want and not to feel any disappointment.
The most important thing when you're working with a buyer is to pre-qualify them before you take them out. Sometimes people have a vision they can afford something and they can't. And it's not till they sit down with the lender that they find out they really can't afford $500. They can really spend $350.
Yeah.
So if you start showing them houses right away at $500, and then they pre-qualify them, nothing looks good to them because you've looked at $500,000 price homes. $350s don't look, and it's very hard to find them a home. So before you even show them anything, have them sit down with a lender and just discuss what a price is comfortable for them.
Okay.
Very important.
Very important. A lot of times people get disappointed at what they
Exactly.
can't afford. And then sometimes they get into a place, they like it, they want to make an offer, they put the offer in, and they can't get the financing, and then that's down to that. Now everything changes. Now they got to look at a price range below what they were expecting. So very important to get qualified before you do go out and look at homes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, Marla, you have anything else to share?
Just that, keep your homes perfect even before your realtor comes. Know to have everything put away so that they can take a really good look at your house and price your house fairly. It's a quieter time right now. It's a quieter market. We're getting into holiday seasons. So buyers are few and far between. So when they're out there, we got to grab them. We got to make sure we're showing perfect homes. So that's really important. And, not that there aren't buyers out there are. And this time of year, it's funny. There's two ways to look at it. There's fewer buyers, there's less inventory, and there's less really wonderful inventory. So if something goes on the market in very good condition and priced right, that's going to be sold right away. So versus the spring market where there's a lot of inventory and a lot of buyers. So right now, you're sort of, if you have a buyer, whatever in great condition out there, that's what's going to sell. So it works both ways. It's still a good time to sell. It's a great time to sell. It's a great time to buy. So it's important that we keep our houses perfect for those buyers that are out there, and we can grab them and get your house sold.
That's right. Give your house the edge. There's a lot of places in the market right now, but if you're looking to sell, give it the edge. Get it ready, make it look nice, and you will get top dollar.
Absolutely.
All right, Marla. Until next week, guys, if you have any other questions for us to address, just leave it in the comments below. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.